Fantastic. How are you doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Shaun Attwood channel. Hope we're having a good Friday. Just to update everyone on the Surviving Life series, it's back next week. It's been a really interesting couple of weeks for me with technology. A lot of things failing, a lot of time having to be spent on freaking technology. But listen, it is what it is. But I just wanted to say, everyone, I hope you've had a good week. And Russell freaking Brand, man. Like, I just don't get where this is all going, right? Like, so before we read this, put a 1 in the side chat if you think this is going to be one of these headlines that is just zero substance in this story, or put a 2 if you think there's some suspiciousness behind this, the way they've covered this, because I'm telling you, man, it's just a bit odd. Because who was it? I think it was Shaun that said Elon Musk and Trump were sort of standing by and support. I don't know what the hell it was. It was something to do with something anyway. Former comedian Russell Brand has been invited to the U.S. President Donald Trump's list of close friends. How do you get invited to a list? How does that happen? Of close friends, having declared himself a born-again Christian, having previously rejected religion. Little rascal. Russell Brand has managed to secure a place in Donald Trump's inner circle after reinventing himself. Former actor and comedian Russell, 49, was charged with R and SA charges earlier this month, which he denies, and in recent months has built up a major following from other American senior officials, including Elon Musk, who defended Russell against the witch hunt brought against him previously. But in recent months, Russell has been able to work his way into the American political elite circles thanks to his stated conversion to Christianity. Having previously rejected religion outright for spirituality, Russell has since declared himself a born-again Christian, which he has seemingly convinced high-up officials in the White House to bring him close to the president. I'm sorry, what? Hang on, that I need to put the reverb on for that. That's a hang on, a little bit of this. What? between this and the Virginia case, I feel like I'm living in like a Mandela effect. I don't know. It's like every day I wake up and reality seems to be slipping further away from these stories. Let's continue. Back in February, the Forgetting Sarah Marshall star gifted a Global Defender of Freedom Award at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. Wait a minute. Was that the same event that other lady that was at that got an award? Being hosted by one of Trump's former security advisors, Russell was honored in a black tie event despite being hit with allegations of SAR months earlier, which he also denied. However, among the ranks of the gala were Mike Flynn, a Christian nationalist who chairs the America's Future charity, aiming to promote American values and traditions in the country, as well as other controversial characters in attendance, including musician Ten Nugent, who is a Pew Pew lobbyist. Russell, who's also seen hanging out with controversial politicians, including Robert Kennedy Jr., a key ally to Trump in Washington, nephew of former President John F. Kennedy. Robert is now, I mean, controversial. Are the Kennedys controversial? Like Robert Kennedy Jr.? Like controversial? The nephew of former President John F. Kennedy, Robert, is known for his staunch right. Okay, all right, okay. I believe in conspiracy theories and shares a history of substance abuse and disgrace. Okay, brilliant. All right, so he's the loose cannon. All right. In recent appearances that come after Met police officers formally charged Russell with R, indecent assault, OR, SA last week. The Met Office focused their operations in the London area, and the Crown Prosecution Service has authorised the Metropolitan Police Service to charge a man following the investigation by detectives. Also, YouTube have done another madness, right? Where we used to be able to stream lives on multiple YouTube channels at the same time, and they've made it against terms of service now. So if you wonder why the shows are, I mean, they should probably always just be on here, but this is where we'll be from now on. I'll still be downloading and uploading my shows to back them up in case they get deleted and stuff like that. But just in case you wonder what's going on there, it wasn't like an Attwood decision. It was a YouTube terms of service thing. Crazy. It's not a multi-stream thing. So you can still stream to YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all simultaneously. That's fine. But it's streaming to more than one YouTube channel simultaneously. They didn't like, which kind of, I don't understand that. But interesting, because the entire pretext of the movement and the Surviving Life podcast was to utilize multiple channel streaming. Interesting. I'm just saying. Anywho, the Met has issued charges and requisition for Russell Brand of Oxfordshire in connection with the following offences: 1 count of R, 1 count of indecent A, 1 count indecent A. As opposed to what? What type of A is anything but indecent? I need answers on that. I need to know the difference between just a regular A and an indecent A. Because you know that ain't going to be, that's not, just throwing in the word indecent there. I mean, that's not a good one. 1 count of R, 1 count of indecent A, 1 count of oral R, 2 counts of SA. A statement from the force added, the police added the investigation into Brand began back in 2023 in the wake of Channel. Wait. It began after the Channel 4 documentary. Because do you know what? I think we need to rewatch the documentary tonight, because if all of this has come from the documentary and the statements given in that documentary, we can go back and listen to when these incidents were reported and start building up some timelines here. Yes. Like, second. Damn. That's a bit mad. Hang on, everybody. One moment, please. Okay. Damn. Damn. Okay. Britain's cooked, mate. Right? Britain is cooked. Like, it is cooked. Like, we're done. We're completely done. Okay. If any of you live in the UK, right, and have like a crazy aunt that lives in France, or like a crazy, uncle that lives in Norway, I think you should start becoming very good friends with them and consider. Oh man. Let's just look at the distraction over here. In the Dispatch's documentary, which was collated together with the Sunday Times, Channel spoke with several women who alleged Russell had assaulted and done horrible things. And then at the height of his fame in the early 2000s, Russell has vehemently denied all the allegations against him and stated, okay, so for those of you who've been keeping up with me covering Russell, I've been asking when the investigation started, right? When the investigation started, all right, and when these ladies reported the crimes. And are you telling me that this investigation happened because of a documentary with faceless? Oh no. If that's the case, right? If that's the case though, right? I've got little John Wedger sitting on my shoulder, right? Going, enough evidence to charge. Four. But here's the thing, right? Like, you've got to understand, if we're looking at a situation where we've got four women, okay? Now, just before you start, we're talking hypothetical here, okay? So everyone relax. But let's just say that there's a possibility that a world exists where certain characteristic of individual who has a provable encounter with this man could be persuaded to believe memories that might have happened, might not have happened, but a fat check probably could jog your memory. And you know damn well that this is a he said, she said case. And if it goes to court, it's a he said, she said, right? Is there not a law in the UK where if you accuse someone of R, you can choose to not be in the court or something? Or is that America? I can't remember. Okay, so fill me in. All right, Monica. So this is a whole bunch of guff about how Russell is in the inner circle of Trump because he's a Christian and he's on Trump's close friend list, blah, 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 blah. And then we get down here And it said the Met has issued a charge and requisition to Russell Brand in connection with the following offences, which are here. A statement from the force added. Police added that investigations into Brand back in September 2023 in the wake of the Channel 4 episode against him. So that means there was no investigation before then, right? Put a 1 in the side chat if that means there was no investigation until that came out. Put a 2 if I'm wrong. Okay, because I need to know I can read. A statement from the force added. Maybe this part of this sentence here is talking about the end of this sentence here. So let's go from here. Police added that investigations into Brand began back in September 23 in the wake, which is what is behind something. So that's after the fact of the Channel 4 episode. What? Rag of a paper. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay. But sometimes, let me tell you how the game works. Where are you, Vern? Sometimes, okay, you need a headline that lets you put the president in the thumbnail. Okay. And sometimes you have to sacrifice the papers that you get those things from. Okay. It's the game, Vern. All right. It's the game. But Vern, this is the interesting part. This is like, isn't it interesting, Vern, that the one piece of information I've been asking for all week happens to turn up in the one newspaper that's so trash that you would never even think to read it? Mm. Okay. So we need to rewatch this documentary. So the documentary, if you're outside the UK, you get it on Channel 4. You might need to use a VPN. But this is a documentary where you hear the testimonies from these women. Channel 4 doc was actor. Well, here, I mean, it'll be actors that were talking and playing the women. Yeah, of course. They're anonymous sources. That's kind of standard. But Lilith, if this whole thing has come from that documentary, that has to be the weirdest thing ever. Somebody gets charged, then you make a documentary about them. You don't make a documentary about them and then arrest them. And another thing, if it's the same women and all of this happened 20 years ago, where are the police reports from 20 years ago? In fact, I'm pretty sure one of them went and actually had an R kit done at a police station. So these are the facts I need to check now. Okay. So I now know that's when the police investigation began, when the documentary came out. Sus, right? Then, come on, brain. Then we need to watch the documentary and see which of these women reported it back then. And is there a paper trail of the report? Because then there'll be a statement, which is really good because that's a fresh account. That is what we want. We want to see 4 reports from the time, 4 statements from the time. That would be, Russell, that ain't looking good for you, my G. But again, I guess you could argue that they could just falsify all that. But again, oh man. Because there is some craziness going on in the UK right now. And hmm. Yeah, Ron's troubled by a lot of this. I'm not going to lie. Uber, come and talk to me. Come and talk to me, Uber. Come and talk to me. Anyone else who wants to come and join the show and help me figure this out, just join the waiting room in the call-in server. Because here's the thing. I'm not discounting survivor stories or victims of any crimes. I just feel like we do an injustice when we don't go down the harder roads of questioning sometimes. Because if you were about to implement change, okay, into say, oh, I don't know, the UK, the last thing you want is inspirational voices with a massive following being able to educate people on how to push back. But oh god, I just don't know. Anyway, there's another one here. So we know that Russell was suspended from the charity organization. Brand cancelled. Russell Brand's first appearance since R charges axed by US college cancels free speech talk, but blames logistics. Okay, sure, yep. Logistics, right? It had nothing to do with the nothing to do with the charges, mate. No. What charges? What charges? Oh, okay. Oh my god, that is quite the image right there. He's got a bit of a Gina Davis mouth, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Remember Gina Davis? Remember Gina Davis? Awful Gina Davis right here.